Hello, welcome to Football Club of Riverside. I'm your host. My name is Yemi. Today, I'm going to be talking about creating a legacy. One of the things that is inevitable in life is whether we like it or not, one day we are going to pass away. And when we're gone, what are people going to remember us for? That's a legacy that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a legacy of a house or car or money that you leave behind for your loved ones. No, I'm talking about when you get to your dying bed, on your dying bed, and you're looking back at your life, what would you want people to remember you for? So we're working backwards. So whatever matters to you the most at that point where you're going to pass away, what are you doing now that will facilitate you to achieve whatever it is that matters most to you then? So granted, I understand that what matters to you now might not matter to you at that time. So, but here's the thing. Thank God I've not been to a lot of funerals, but I've been to some painful funerals. And one of the things that struck me whenever I go to a funeral is I've never met anyone or heard of anyone that on their dying bed looked back and said, I wish I spent more time at the office. No one in recorded history. And bear in mind that we spend a lot of time at work. Most of us work 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours, or even 80 hours each week at work. So if on our dying bed, what we spend the most of our time on is not what matter most, then what matter most to you? So that's the first question you got to ask yourself. And then when you've addressed that, the next question is, what are you doing now to facilitate that you will have a success in whatever matters to you when you get to your dying bed? So for me, a long time ago, I've come to realization that for me, on my dying bed, what's going to matter most to me is going to be the relationships that I have with people, all the people that I've the opportunity to meet in this lifetime. Those relationships is what's going to matter most, and what's going to matter about this relationship is going to be the relationships, the ones that I got right, the relationships that I did not get right, and what did I do with the ones that I didn't get right. So for me, relationship matters, and because relationship matters, and that's what's going to matter most to me on my dying bed, I try to ensure that everyone that I come in contact with or that come in contact with me have a pleasant experience. After all, there's some people I'm only ever going to meet once, but I want them to remember me with fond memory. Not because I'm trying to appease to them, but because that's just who I am. So if relationship matters to you, or whatever matters to you, once you realize what matters to you, there are three or four things I want you to bear in mind. So, number one, once you identify what matters to you, then what are you doing now to make sure that whatever matters to you, you are a success and people are going to remember you for it? And you have to decide. I can't decide for you. That's entirely up to you. Then the second thing, cultivate the right mindset. There's a right way of doing things and there's a wrong way, regardless of what anybody says. So once you identify what matters most to you, then have a right mindset about the approach, what you do to make sure that when you get to your dying bed, you're not surrounded. Because the worst thing that can happen to anybody is on your dying bed to be surrounded with the ghost of unfulfilled dreams. That's a nightmare. You don't want that, trust me. No one wants that. Then the next thing, and this most people won't hear this, decide the level of sacrifice that you're willing to endure or bear to make sure that whatever matters most to you is a success. The level of, yeah, because everything in life that you want to achieve, you will have to make some sacrifices. If you want to get married, you have to make sacrifices. If you want to have children, there's a level of sacrifice, but you have to decide what level of sacrifice is the bare minimum and what level of sacrifice is the maximum. You decide, because everything comes at a cost. And lastly is, don't just sit down and think about it and wish for it. Start the process. Identify what you want or what you want to remember it for. Have the right mindset and put in place or assess the level of sacrifice that you're prepared to make to achieve that, and then start the process. Go for it. In business, they have this acronym they call I.D.E.A, and I guess that works for legacy as well. And the first one is just instruction. Write down. If you're like me, you can't remember anything, write down a post-it note the process of what you want to achieve and pin it somewhere. Then demonstrate. It's not just talk, walk the walk, put into action. And then experience. The best way to achieve anything in life is to actually go out there and do it. Do it. You start. Everything starts roughly, wobbly. No baby is born and start running or walking. They have to crawl. So whatever you start, it's gonna have this trying time at the beginning, and then it gets better with time. And then lastly, the A is assess. Take a sober reflection at every point along the way and assess how well you're doing, how far you've got, and what needs to improve. So that is the idea. Instruction, demonstration, experience, and assessment. So don't just think about your legacy, put into action, go up there and build. Now start building from now what you want to be remembered for, and when you get to your dying bed, you can look back and thank me for this video. Thank you so much for your time. Bye.